My biggest advice to young people is
Whoa, 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 get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, yeah. Yeah. Get out the way, get the fuck up out my way, yeah. Yeah. You either with me or against me, ho.
So today I did a podcast with a young guy named Casey Adams. Met him through drama when he did Short Story Long, and he actually came out and hung out with us in DC when we did March for Our Lives. And really fascinating dude. He's just graduated high school. Him and his crew of friends are doing podcasts, creating content, and it really kind of dawned on me that this is the future of actually education, because I think the education system in this country is kind of broken because it's not giving the skill sets to young people to be successful in the workforce today. And a guy like Casey is out here making and creating his own opportunities. And so we sat down and talked about a lot of those things on his podcast. He has a great podcast for young people, really focusing it around what are their questions, their needs, because at different phases of your life, you're going to ask different questions. So if I was talking to a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, or an 18-year-old, I think there are different things that they find interesting and important. And I think Casey did a great job on our podcast. So we have some clips from that, and then the pod will be coming out in a few weeks, so look out for it. But I think it's really fascinating to think about what the world looks like with the young people growing up in this social media era and how they're going to apply it to the real world and make a living ultimately. Only reason you go to college is to figure out how to make more money. So is it worth paying $200,000 to go to college? I don't know.
Came out and he was searching.
Yeah, the other was
Like Patrick reached out to do a Caseless collab. Somebody advanced, but they left. New era, spiritual.
You know what
gangster.
the key to it is? It has to be dope.
Yeah.
Where it's not it's the struggle where when companies who are not clothing companies make merch, it feels like merch.
Yeah.
It should be something like, on a Friday night, you would just wear it. If you could design a t-shirt and a hoodie by then, get a t-shirt and hoodie sampled, you guys go shoot it, make it fun content, whatever, have it available at the LA event and online, and then explain the story of why you're doing it, because it's genuine, and then see people's reaction.
From a narrative standpoint, is there room for this type of brand story?
Yeah, so I definitely think there is. First and foremost, the product just has to be hot.
Right.
It's got to be on trend, really cool, whatever the kid on the street is wearing, this is your interpretation of it. You have to give a reason for people to purchase. So no one wants the day in and day out stuff.
Right.
That's the stuff that, the core items that we all grew up buying. No one wants that. I want that merch from the last night.
I commit crime all the time. I convince my homies to slide. Take this pistol, you down the ride. Cock the pistol, it's hammer time. Paparazzi, I'm trying to hide. Fuck the bitch, she traumatized.
And the man D Murphy with us today. About to do the podcast interview. Yo, thanks for coming out, man.
Why is your voice so hoarse?
Yeah, so we went to this, what was it? Dream Hotel, the room last night. It was loud music, and I just happened to lose my voice, but we're gonna do this podcast still. No excuses.
Look at that determination.
What's going on, everyone? Casey Adams here. Welcome to the Rise of the Young podcast. Today, episode 78, we have my good friend D Murphy with us here today, and I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Cool, man. I'm glad to. Well, you're in my office, so I'm glad you came here.
Yeah, totally.
I always assumed you had to be old to make money. And then that internet explosion opened the doors for young people. I think it opened up in all industries. All of a sudden, you can be a young person. Yeah. Like these two guys who were just indexing their favorite websites started Yahoo and were millionaires the next day, a year later.
Yeah.
So things like that I was witnessing happening on the internet and on CNBC, and I was like, wow, you have to start your own business. This is the future of how people are going to create wealth.
1996 that was?
Yeah.
So when it comes to that transition of you kind of seeing it, but then actually trying to be a player in the space, maybe starting your own company, what was the transition to actually take the next step to start something?
So I started college in 1998. I was 18 years old. I'm probably your oldest guest. I'm 37. I started writing a business plan for a website called schoolgossip.com. It was it was a high school college community online. I wrote the business plan. I pitched it to a friend of mine. He came on board. We pitched it to a bunch of people we knew. We raised $250,000 in like a month. The site at that time got to 100,000 members, which was nuts for that era of internet, because there wasn't that many people on the internet at that point. So we were like a serious player in that world, and a lot of those people are my friends now. But I started hiring people. I didn't know what to do, but I just did it. We ultimately failed and I walked away from the business, but it was just like, oh, anyone can start a business, anyone can do anything. And I was 18 years old at the time, and the concept of an 18-year-old entrepreneur was so novice at that era that I was able to get into any room.
For all the young people like listening right now, what's something that you think in this current element is something that you're looking at as like the next wave? Is it social media still, or what's your, I would say, forward-looking statement when it comes to, is there a different tech side of things, or is there a different cryptocurrency? What are some things that you're looking at as something as like the new thing that could be like a big dominant force in the industry?
I truly think your social media will be your resume in the future. Because of that, it's going to change the education system in this country. I got straight A's my freshman year of college, and then I thought it was a waste of time. In school today, you're not learning any of the skill sets that are required to be successful in today's job market.
I can agree with that, man. I just graduated high school. I feel you on that.
Exactly. Like, if you're a creative person, they don't teach you how to shoot video, edit pictures. Those are the skill sets you're going to need if you want to be a creative person. So I think there's this huge revolution that's going to happen that we're still in the early stages of, where the educational system is going to become obsolete if it does not change the way it educates the youth, because otherwise they're not getting skill sets that are going to help them earn. At the end of the day, it's about earning a living and having a good quality of life, and the schools aren't providing that. Even at college, at the top level, unless you're going for a medical degree, a law degree, or an engineering degree. I went for business. There's nothing I learned at college that I'm applying, except there's one thing that college provides you, is social skills. It teaches you how to be in an environment and interact with all types of people, even people you don't like. Because if you're not put in that position, you never learn that skill. You could force yourself to do it, but most people don't. But I think the real opportunity for the younger folks is to be open-minded. It was a joke when 7 months ago I was like, I'm going to be a social media influencer, but I see the power in it now, and I kick myself in the head every day that I didn't start this journey like 5 years ago. It's an amazing time to be a young person, because you ultimately dictate your destiny. Before, the system dictated your destiny. So it's awesome as long as you put the work in. And there's no you're 18, there's no doors that are closed to you. When 30 years ago, if you're 18, you're like, hey, you're 18, get out of my office. You know what I mean? So things have changed. My biggest advice to young people is travel everywhere you can. I mean, I've traveled when I was poor, and I've traveled when I had money. I've had equally as much fun both times. And I've pretty much gone everywhere I've ever wanted to go. And every time, the thing that I enjoy most, so I'm not a tourist guy, like, oh, you got to see the Duomo in Milan. Like, I don't really care, because I think I'm just not at that interest. I think when I take my child, we'll go see history and learn. What I was more inclined to do in these cities is sit at a cafe, sit outside, observe the people, meet the waiter. Hey waiter, where are you going tonight? All right, we'll come with you. Like that, those are the stories and memories that I have that have actually had the biggest impact on my life. If I had $400 in 3 days, I would find a $300 flight to Paris and figure it out.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah, like that's, so like my favorite places right now, to travel to, are Mykonos. I just think it's the best city in the world right now.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to the Rise of the Young podcast, and thanks Steve for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming, man. Definitely text you all.
You ain't with me on this.